John Jasper, and we're going to sort out some robot navigation issues on a map in the UK. We need to get these navigation points here sorted out, and we need to get navigation points at the end of every aisle so that the robot can navigate correctly down these aisles. So we are going to go to the 3D Warehouse Manager software, and let's take a look in the system. This is their warehouse. I'm just going to look at a few aisles here to start with and draw it in 3D. Immediately I can see that the lanes, which are these green rectangles, are not set up correctly. For some reason the bins, these are the bin locations, have been moved across, and the lanes are not set up. They shifted off to the left. You can see at the end halfway down the aisle. So we've got to get these lanes moved to the right. The lanes are what the database thinks the robot is. So the lanes is a coordinate mapping system. So it maps the robot's coordinate to the aisle in the warehouse management system. So here's the database setup, and we could go into the aisle. On the left is the list of aisles, and on the right is the list of bins in those aisles. The two are linked, but not they're mutually exclusive. We can modify one without the other. So here you can see the lanes. So this lane is starting at 88 and 0. So we need to fix this. So I'm going to move the lanes in the X direction. Remember, X is in that direction. And I'm going to move them 35 meters. It's redrawing the lanes now, and you can see that they are lined up. I moved them a little bit too far. You can see I think I need to come back 1 meter. No, they're in the right place. Yeah, they're a little bit too far. You can see they're coming out the end here. So I need to come back 1 meter. So I'm going to move lanes X minus 1 meter. So the lanes are now, this first one needs some attention, so we'll do that one separately. But they're now in line with the locations, and now I do the same for the navigation points. These red arrows are the navigation points that the robot's going to navigate up and down by. It'll go to that point, and then it'll start its mission. You can see this is an arrow coming in this direction, that's an arrow going in that direction. So the robot does a big loop around this aisle and comes back here, and it carries on. Obviously we don't want the robot starting way out of the aisle, so I'm going to move the navigation points as well. So move nav in the X direction 34 meters, and we have now aligned the coordinate system. So the robot will come here, navigate to the end of that aisle, and then it will turn around and navigate down there. So those are navigation points, seem to be okay. The lanes are a little bit narrow. You can see there's a section in the middle where if the robot went into that area, it wouldn't know where it was. It would think it's in a no man's land, and the aisle would be blank. So these lanes were set up a little bit too narrow. So I'm going to widen these lanes so that if the robot comes anywhere in line here, it knows where it is. So that comes back to lanes, and I'm going to widen the lanes, and that's in the Y direction. Y is in that direction. Widen lanes Y, and I'll do it 1 meter. And now you can see the lanes are full. They cover the entire face of that. So let's just have a look at this B only and just see what it looks like. So you can see there the lane is completely underneath the aisle. So if the robot comes anywhere here, it thinks it's in the lane, and it is wide enough as well. Let's just do B odd, which is the facing aisle, and see what happens there. And there you can see it's a fairly wide lane, and if the robot comes anywhere here, it will navigate there. You can also see that this arrow is the robot's going to come and start outside the lane, which is what we want. We don't want it to navigate into the aisle, but this green area needs to extend out. So I'm going to select those aisles again, and I'm going to extend the lane so that it recognizes the aisle further out. So that would be widen lanes in the X direction. X direction, I want this lane to come out here. I'm just going to draw that first. So we've got a view of that. So I want those lanes to come further out, extend out on both ends. So as the robot lines up with this aisle, it knows it's in the right lane, knows it's in line with the aisle, and then it does some preparation work to the mast before it sends the mast up. So let's widen lanes X, and I'm going to widen them by 1.5 meters. And now the recognition area of this aisle is extended out, so the robot will come, and as it hits into this green area in front of this aisle, it will stop, set up for this aisle, and then it will move on to that point and line up and carry on navigating down. So that's how you can quickly adjust your travel lanes, and this does become quite important when the robot starts navigating and you want it to be a little bit further away from the aisle or to stop further out from the aisle. It's quite easy using this tool to do that across the whole warehouse. Got our warehouse looking pretty good, and we got our green recognition areas called lanes where the system will determine which aisle the robot's in continually, and we've got our navigation points set up where we will direct the robot to go. So those are the red arrows, the start and end, orientation 180 on some of them. So now that we've got this set up, we need to send this information to the robot. So there you can see the orientation that the robot will be is 180 in that direction and 0 in that direction. So let's go and send this to the robot. Once again, the robot has got very few points on it, and we don't want to create these points manually. It's quite a pain to move these. You've got to move it with the mouse and then kind of drag it and put it where you want it to be, and to do that for 50 or 100 points is very time consuming. So instead of that, we go back to our positions manager and we get our positions from the database. So here you can see these red ones are in the database, but they don't exist on the MER. Only 2 exist on the robot, the MER robot. These 2, and these are these 2 on the map here. But these are, as you can see, in the wrong position. It's navigating, stopping in the middle of the aisle. So let's see if we can get those positions that we created onto the map. So let's click this button here, and it's now communicating with the robot over Wi-Fi using the robot's API and creating them. So let's go back here, refresh the screen, and as you can see on the robot's map now, it has created all of the positions. You can see there's some work that we need to do. There's obviously some inconsistency between the robot's XY in the database, so we will need to move that coordinate system so that these positions get moved. You can see that it also ignored these 2 because these are manually in the system. So we'll go back and we'll fix that problem. Let's go have a look at the settings. We can normalize this, and these get subtracted from the robot X and Y. We can see that it's mostly only in the Y direction that we have an issue. These would need to move up or down. It depending, we can see now. So we need to move these up. So we need to change this X and Y. So let's add 1 meter to the Y and go and create these positions again. Let's load them all. You can see they're all gone green now, because not green, they're all not red, because they are all existing in the robot. And here is the position that it's going to be with the normalization. So I'm going to select these and I'm going to save these 66 positions. We should see this whole screen move now. And you can see it has moved up by a meter. These were in line with this red area, the red area being a no-go zone or forbidden zone. So we need to move it up another meter so that these start lining up in the middle of this aisle, or possibly that would be 0.5, so yeah, or probably 1.5 meters. So let's normalize that again and make this 1.5. Sorry, it's a 1 plus another 1.5, so that will be 2.5. Let's load these up again. Let's select them all and save them all. That's just the raw response from the robot on the left, telling us that it accepted those. I'm just going to refresh this again. And you can see these are now almost in the middle of the aisles. Probably need to go up a little bit more. This one is a little bit lower than that one. So this type of behavior, often you will need to tweak these individually or as a group, or you tweak one aisle and then you apply it to all of the groups. So I'm just going to move that up a little bit more. So 2.7, so 2.75, so it's 25 centimeters higher. Load all the aisles, select them all and save these to the MER. Refresh this. And these are pretty much in the middle of the aisle now. There's no way to show on the MER map the green zones. That's really a database function. But we do show the navigation point. So this point becomes managed by the database now. This naming convention is managed and everything. If I want to delete these points or work on them, or I don't want them, I come to the MER, I get all the positions, and then I can say, look, I want to clean out this map, and you can select any position here, even positions that are created in your normal MER. So this manages those permissions from a deletion point of view. You can see the charger positions. I'm not going to, so I can delete these from the MER and from the robot. If I refresh, you'll see my map is now clean. There's nothing on it. So it's a very quick and easy way to manage multiple positions. You can also import those positions into the software. You don't need to go through that whole warehouse design thing. There's an import screen right here. Import files, and you give it an Excel file, and it will import the data in that you want, and it'll go off and create the position. So just get back to where we were. Here's our database positions. I want to load them all. You can see they're all gone red now because they're not sitting in the robot, and I want to save them. It's going to use this mapping system as well on this other tab that for fine adjustments here. It's added the 2.75 to the data that's in the database, and we're going to refresh. There you go. The next thing we can also do is send the robot to these positions. So if I come here, I get them all again. I can say, right, these positions, select them all, and create 5 missions. That will go and create those missions on the MER, and you'll see them coming up in your mission queue instantly. It deletes the existing mission queue, and the robot will start navigating.